This is Nana Window. Listen to Personality Profiles with Leslie's Bill. Get inspired, get nourished, and grow to be the best that you want to be. Personality Profile and 99.7 FM. I love it.
Hi, this is Mr. Simons. Keep listening to Personality Profile with Lexus Bill. This is the program that inspires you and brings you very close to your role models.
I'm Vera Kwakufi, Current Affairs Editor of BBC Africa. Keep listening to Lexus Bill on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. You could just be able to hear the best piece of advice that sets you on the course to success.
Hello, Ghana. My name is Senor Jose, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Keep listening to Personality Profile with Lexus Bill because it delivers the value that sets you apart for success.
Hi, this is Nadia Antano, Miss Ghana 2013. Keep listening to Personality Profile with Lexus Bill every Thursday at 7 p.m. on Joy FM and be inspired.
Hi, my name is James Ebo-White, or everyone calls me Uncle Ebo-White. You know, what you'll be 5 years from now depends on only two things: the books you read and the people you meet. On Personality Profile, you meet the kind of people you need to meet to make your transition to your greatness. You want a program that would help you, inspire you, motivate you. Why bother to turn to other channels? Just stay here on Personality Profile and you get all the inspiration you need.
Best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock.
Yeah.
You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself.
Standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name.
You can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you can get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. And you're never gonna know if you ever even try.
Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're
standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name.
Be politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions.
Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name.
Be a champion.
Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Lexus Bill. You're most welcome. I always look forward to Thursday evenings. Yep, because, of course, it affords us the opportunity to sit with influential people who are creating value and leading teams to help make life better for a lot in Ghana. Yeah. Tonight, I have one such great conversation for you. My guest is an outstanding businessman. Yeah, who has for 3 years led a team that has brought innovation into the insurance industry in Ghana. He has a wealth of experience in people management, building and managing startups, reorganization, as well as restructuring, spanning insurance, telecoms, banking. Now, under his captainship, Allianz Life Insurance Ghana was awarded the title of the fastest growing insurance company in Ghana for 2019 at the Ghana Insurance Awards. He has well led his employees in a CSR campaign on the beach cleaning that won the company an award in the corporate social responsibility from the Ghana Insurance Awards in 2019 and some global recognition as well. My guest tonight hails from Delta State in Nigeria. Yeah, he's a certified management trainer, certified PPE administrator, DDI accredited facilitator. He's an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria and a board member of Allianz Insurance Ghana. Chief Executive Officer of Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, Mr. Gideon Ataraire, is my guest on Personality Profile. Welcome, Chairman.
Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Very well. I'm really quite impressed that you were able to pronounce that name because a lot of people struggle with it.
Bro, it took what? Weeks of training and rehearsing.
Interesting.
But I got it right, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And I say congratulations to you and the team as well.
Oh, thanks.
For the past couple of weeks, I've been talking about Allianz on my show. So I've been talking about 3 years in the business. Good job.
Thank you.
How has it been? Has it been
It's
good?
been
Smooth?
it's not, there's nothing really smooth in life. Every good thing comes with a lot of hard work. Yeah, so it's been quite interesting. That's the way I like to put it.
I see. So at what point do we cut the third anniversary cake?
So
Or
sometime
we should
next
do
week.
social distancing with the
So
cake.
sometime next week we are going to cut our third anniversary cake.
Oh, well, good stuff.
Yeah, so
You have a
will
guest
do
list? I have a pen.
We do. We're putting up our guest list as yet.
Yeah,
And we
okay.
even have a surprise that day because we're launching something that is just out of something really, really new in the insurance space. So
Wow.
just keep your ears
And that's the
open.
thing about Allianz. I like this innovation almost all the time because I'm always talking about like different products, and then a few weeks later there's a new product. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
like you're constantly innovating.
Yeah. Our goal is to disrupt, just to disrupt the market, disrupt the insurance space, make insurance affordable, make insurance something that is easy for everyone to understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
On your third anniversary, what do you say you're proudest of?
So one of the things we're very proud of is to be one of the fastest growing insurance companies in Ghana. Imagine an infant. We just started in 2018, and at that time we were number 20 out of 20. And then 1 year later, we moved to about 13. And then after then, as at the end of 2020, we moved to number 9. I mean,
Yeah.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
That is really our proudest moment. And if you look at the people that are doing this, it will make you even prouder because these are Ghanaians. These are people, young people. The oldest person in our organization is 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it tells you, so our average age is about 35. So you have a lot of young people. So when you hear about all these innovations, all of these things, just think about a bunch of young, crazy people with a lot of hunger and drive to succeed. That's it.
Impressive.
I'm just privileged to be the captain, the one that is steering the ship, but the real guys doing the work, they're out there.
Oh, well, kudos to you. If you're part of the Allianz family, we're proud of you today. And I'm sure the journey hasn't been smooth throughout. Like you said, there's nothing smooth in this world. Really, what are some of the major challenges you've encountered?
A lot. I'll start from, like you said, where I grew up in Warri. I grew up right in Warri in Delta State, Nigeria. My family wasn't those kind of families where they say people are born with silver spoons and all that. No, no,
Is
no.
it?
Very, very far from that. Very far from that.
I've heard a lot of tales about worry, and
Yeah.
and you know, of course, worry is
It's
is quite notorious for
For a
certain
lot of
things.
things, yeah. Comedy, so many things.
Yeah.
Typical language that
Yeah.
we speak there, the pidgin language and all that. So my family was one that was a struggling family because in primary school, especially when from primary 5, primary 6, myself, my elder sister and myself, we had to sell food. We have to hawk, put things on our heads and go around the streets to sell just to support the family because my dad at the time had just lost his job and it continued for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So from late primary 4, primary 5, primary 6, I was a street vendor with my sister. So we're going around. There's almost no food item that I have not put on my head.
You're serious?
From yam,
Oh dear.
tubers on a tray,
Mhm.
to gari,
Oh boy.
to fish, to different things that we used to go around on the streets of Warri. Sometimes you're going around and you see your classmates, you try to hide, all
Oh,
of those.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it was quite, well, it was tough. It was really tough in primary school. Really, really tough. Secondary school was a bit light. Yeah, it was a bit, but university was another one.
Okay.
University it's a story of resilience.
Hmm.
University was a story of don't ever give up.
Before we even get into the university bit, let's stay with the primary and
Secondary.
and secondary. Through all those trying times and tough times of you on the street with the yam on your head and all of that, what's the biggest lesson you learned from your parents?
Never give up. My mom, my dad, they see us. They know how tough it was. Imagine parents seeing their little ones going out to struggle to add to the family. You could see, first of all, I see teamwork between the two of them because I know what my dad was doing and then I also knew what my mom was doing. And then together, they're able to plan. For most families, when they go through those kind of events, that's where you hear divorce, that's where you hear a lot of fighting and all of that. But then for us, that hardship, that brought us together. We ate together. We would always eat together. And we were 7.
7?
I have 6 siblings, so we're 7 together. And mom and dad, 9 of us. So it was a real struggle. It was a real struggle, but you could see in their eyes a lot of hope.
Yeah.
A lot of struggle, a lot of no, things will not continue like this.
Yeah.
And so that's how we're brought up to share in pains, in joys, to teach, bring up the younger ones. And so it made us, take up responsibilities very early in our lives. Yeah.
What was your position in the 7?
Second. So I'm the first boy and second child.
You had a big task.
Yeah, I did. You can say that again.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I look at my younger ones who are already married with children and all that. I still see them as, those, because you brought them up.
You brought them up,
you took care of them, and also it was a big.
It was even
task.
more tasking for you because now they were looking up to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to do very well in school. You had to do very well in sports. You had to do everything because the younger ones are looking just up to you.
Yeah.
So
it's safe to say that all that didn't let you get into trouble much in Warri, did it?
Nah. You were too busy trying to survive than to, get yourself into anything else.
Yeah. Okay. And now you get into university. I know you, before even university, you were part of your debate team in school.
Yeah.
In secondary school.
Yeah.
Of course, you're a great orator, so I'm not surprised.
I have seen that some people have gone to dig up.
Well, Warri is not far from here. Just a few hours flight, and then we're there. So yeah. So you're a great orator. So you were, part of the debate team. What other passions did you have? Did you have a certain career path? As a kid, we all had these careers we wanted to take up.
I'll tell you about that. So, as a kid, I wanted to be a doctor. I actually wanted to be a doctor, and my father saw that in me. I started learning a lot of things. So when I was in secondary school, for instance, there's a family friend who is a pharmacist that had a pharmacy. So he had a pharmacy. I would go there after school to just sit and learn and see. So at some point, I could administer first aid, even when I was in secondary school. And my house then was close to a football field. So I got my big first aid box, and I used to administer first aid to people. I remember there were some remarkable events. There's one of my classmates that I think that's one of the highlights of those. So I actually wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But the only thing that happened was that I didn't have the brain for it.
You were telling us about that episode.
Yes, you want me to?
Yes.
It's this guy, one of my very stubborn friends in those days. In fact, up till now, in our secondary school group, it still causes a lot of problems. So this day, he had a cut, and then it became like a boil.
Okay.
And it was there. He's been going to the chemist. In those days, you just go to the chemist. They were treating. I kept telling him, come, I'm going to fix this. But classmate, no, I don't think you can. Then he gave me the opportunity. He came. Then I did what I had learned, tied the place up, and actually treated it. As I was administering it, he screamed. Because he's a very loud-mouthed guy.
Yeah.
He screamed, everyone was laughing, the whole area gathered everything. But after I treated him, do you know that the next day he could walk? He could walk because everything that I had learned, I had to.
Yeah.
I was very passionate about being a medical doctor, but the brain couldn't allow me.
How? Explain.
So for you to be a medical doctor, you had to pass all your science courses. I had A's in some of them, but there was one stubborn one called physics. My brain couldn't carry that, physics. So I tried the first time, tried the second time, no way. I couldn't.
Speak the letters now. You said A's. You don't slide on that one. You tried the first one and?
No, okay, so the first time I attempted WAEC, I got 5 credits and included maths and English, but physics wasn't there. I needed all the 5 credits. I needed physics, I needed biology, I needed chemistry in order for me to qualify, So the next time I tried it, everything was there. Physics was P. Why? P.
That's pass.
Pass. It was P7, they used to call it. I don't know what they call it.
That's like 30 over 100. Or something.
No, it's
around,
like 40. It's like 40.
It's not far from 30. Relax.
No, it's not far. It's like 40. If you go less than 40, it's F.
Oh, right.
It's F. It's F.
So you're just trying to say you didn't get F?
I didn't get F. It was a P. I tried, then I just couldn't.
Wow.
But I settled for something that was second nature to me. I've always loved farming. So growing up, I've always had chickens. I would have all of those things. We had gardens around, real farming. So I settled for that. So I studied agriculture. And funny enough, after I got into university studying agriculture, then I finally passed physics, but it was too late. So I just said, no, just go on.
Wow.
So I trained as a farmer.
So okay, now that you chose agriculture, what exactly did you want to head with agric? Did you think that at some point you would have a big plantation and work on it?
So my dream, and it still is,
okay,
is to end up teaching, probably in a university, and own a large farm, livestock plantation. That's it. That's always been my dream. So it was second nature. So I studied agriculture and I did well, I think.
And when you were done with school, what did you decide?
So again, when I was done with school, going through school, it's where my real story of resilience, of never say die. That's where it happened. But maybe we'll talk about that later.
No, I want to talk about it now.
You want to talk about it?
I'm interested. It's quite an interesting story. I'm following.
Okay. So getting into school, it was very tough for me. 100 level. I did the first semester, and then the second semester I couldn't cope because there was no money. So I had to drop out of school.
You dropped out?
Yes, I dropped out. The second semester, 100 level, I couldn't cope with all the bills, all the fees, register courses, pay for this. So I had to drop out from school. It was very sad for my parents. It was very sad for everyone.
Was it your decision or their decision?
It was everybody's decision. You had no choice. Where do you stay? How do you feed? All of those things. How do you register your courses? It was not anything that anyone wanted, but it just happened like that. So I had to drop out of school at that time. But when I dropped out, I started doing work. I started teaching. I started doing a lot of things. Then I saved up some money.
Okay.
Then I went back to school the next year. That was supposed to be 200 level. Me, naive guy, I just went back and said, yes, so I want to continue. And the HOD said, come here. What do you think? Continue what? You absconded. That's the first time I heard that grammar called absconded. I say absconded. I didn't do second semester, I know, but I want to continue. They said, no, you can't continue. You absconded. You've left. I was sad. Then he said, except, then I was interested in that except. He said, except when we look at your GPA for just the first semester and run it over the 2 semesters, because the first semester was 24 credits.
Yeah.
Second semester, 24 credits. If we get what you scored from your exam in the first semester over 48 and you score up to 1 point, then the department will help you. All those he was saying was too technical for me at the time. So I sat there, and then he called someone, a young lecturer at the time, who is coincidentally the dean of the faculty today.
Okay.
Called him at the time and said he should go and check. So he checked, and then he came back. He said he scored 1. My eyes lit, and then the HOD said 1. Okay. Then they started assisting me. So in 200 level, I was in the second semester of 200 level, I was writing 200 level exam and the 100 level exam. It was crazy. That's one of the most challenging period of my life, because there were days I was writing 2 exams. I'll write 100 level exam, 200 level exam. But that's not the saddest part of the story. There were days at that time where I would write an empty stomach, because all the monies I've saved, how much can it really be?
Yeah.
In fact, in 200 level, I struggled to pay the fees. I remember it was one of my aunties and my immediate younger sister, who just finished secondary school, who was just working. Her salary for the month and my auntie's money, that's how they paid my school fees that year, 200 level. But to feed my brother is another ball game entirely. There's a remarkable event I will never forget. There's one of my crazy friends. His name is Gideon as well. So there was this night. We were preparing for exams. I was so hungry. I couldn't read. So this was like 2 a.m. So I woke up. I wanted to take Gary. I got there was Gary. So I said, okay, let me have some sugar. No sugar. So I was just hissing. I was hissing throughout. He was pretending to be asleep. It was much later that I was telling the story. Then I saw salt. I wanted salt since there's no sugar. I got there's no salt. So I said, okay, I'll just take the Gary like that. The worst thing, there was no water, bro.
There was no water too.
I cried. He felt so sorry for me. He just behaved as if he was sleeping. I cried. I really cried. The next day, I had exam. How I wrote the exam, I don't know, but I survived it. 300 level was another very, very tough one. 300 level was bad because I couldn't pay my school fees, but I had accommodation. I had someone who I was staying with, but I couldn't pay fees. So I was driven out of my exam hall. The first paper, the dean of the faculty noticed that, what's wrong with this guy? How? So he was thinking that there must be something wrong for this boy not to have paid his school fees. So after the people that were driving everybody out, after they left, the dean now called me and said they should allow me in. So I went in, I wrote. But to cut the long story short, I was able to pay with the help of one young lady who the school was owing some amount of money. I helped her to get it because I knew some people in the bursary department, and that's how she borrowed me 6,000 naira at the time. It's small money today. 6,000 naira is something that I would just spend on the table with friends, but that's what I couldn't pay at the time. So that's how I passed through that, and to pay that loan, it was painful and it took time. 400 level was another story entirely, bro. I could have dropped out again. In fact, I was at the verge of dropping out in 400 level, but for somebody that also came in the nick of time to rescue me with some amount of money. 500 level, my final year, it was one other person that used house rent, money for house rent, to help so that I could pay. If not, I would just lose everything that I fought for. And then I was doing well in school. I was among faculty scholars. In fact, in 400 level, I was a faculty scholar. Then, so I was doing well. I was helping the department. I was helping the HOD, but no one knew what I was going through. Until that 500 level, when the young lady gave me her school her house rent for me to pay my school fees, and then her rent then expired. So I wanted to die because how will I even explain this? Then, just when I was going through that anxiety and all that, our HOD, who have been assisting to write papers for the state government and everything, he saw me. And he looked at my face and said, "Something is wrong with you." I said, "No." He said, "Shut up." Then he dragged me into his office and said, "What's wrong with you?" Do you know, I couldn't explain. I just started crying. The man shut his door and then interviewed me. He himself started shedding tears. It felt so bad, and said that I just suffered myself for nothing. The school would have helped me throughout all of this, but I went through all this pain like that. So it wasn't easy. It was the HOD that now gave me the money the next week that I used to refund the ladies'
rent.
Yeah. It's
you know what's quite evident in your story is that I don't know how religious you are, but it looks like God had angels dotted along the path for you. Are you still in touch with some of these people?
Yes, but painfully some no, because at that time there was no telephone. So especially when I left school and I was doing my national service in the north. In Nigeria, you have to do a national service where you travel out of your state. Then I was in the north. There were certain people who helped me at those times.
Okay.
And today I have no way of contacting them. It's really sad, but these were people that have really...
Indeed, your story is one of resilience. I now get the picture. You see why I wanted to hear it. It's a very beautiful story, and I'm sure it has helped shape you and your thinking and your approach in everything you do.
Yes. It has helped me to not underrate anyone. You never know. Who would have believed that young boy that used to hawk around, take yam and gari around, will now be somewhere sitting and saying is a CEO. So you never underrate anyone. You have no reason to be proud. You have to involve everyone. So there are so many things that I've learned, and also never to give up. Just make sure that you do all that you have to do, and then you'll be fine. You'll be fine generally.
We'll talk about work a little bit more now. Now you're getting emotional.
Yeah.
I think I need to get them to coffee, tea, whiskey or what?
You
We
took
need to
me
get you to
back
come
in time. I need to come back.
You need
I
to come back. We're going to take a quick break. If you're just tuned in, this is Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Lexus Bill. This evening, I'm spending time with the CEO of Allianz Life Insurance, Mr. Gideon Ataraire, here on your superstation. And his story is quite a very interesting one. I'm loving it. We're live on Facebook as well. You can check out the live video on Facebook, and you can tweet at us with the hashtag Drive on Joy. If you want to send in a question or a comment, you can send it on our WhatsApp platform 055 So now we continue the conversation. Graduate farmer, agric econs bagged from the university, national service done. Which farm did you enter?
Correct. So I entered quite a few farms actually, because I really love farming, and there were just two things in my mind. Somebody was asking me, "What was your dream?" I said, "It's only those who sleep that used to dream that." What do you mean by dream? The only thing I knew then was I wanted to have a farm and then teach. So I started out with farm. I had a small farm. Both I had pigs, I had chicken, and all that. But I needed to expand the farm. So I was looking for a job, so to earn some more money and to continue farming. Then someone told me about a new telco that was about to come into Nigeria at the time. And then they were looking for people who had graduated, who had first class or second class upper. And she says, "Yes, I remember." Then someone introduced me. I went, I dropped my CV. And from the day I dropped my CV till I got the job was like 2 weeks. And that's how I got into a company called Globalcom.
Globalcom, okay.
In 2003.
Ah.
Yeah, so the company was had not launched at the time. So we were there preparing for the launch and all of that. So that's how I got into industry. But farming, teaching, telco, customer service, how do I bridge it? So what I did was that from day one, when they were taking us around, showing us around, then I asked a question that, is there a department in this company where I can have the opportunity to teach?
Oh.
Yeah. Then the guy that was taking us around, he looked at me. And it was later I understood why he looked at me that way. He looked at me like, "Why are you asking?" I say, "Oh, because I really want to teach in the future. I'm just looking for a way to, you know." And he said, "No, but there's a department called training." I said, okay. And that was where the conversation ended. Not knowing at that time that the company was looking to train Nigerians to become training specialists, to take over from our South African trainers.
Oh.
So that conversation now brought me to the table. So when they wanted to train, they now remember that, there's one guy there. And that's how they took me out from the call center. I used to be a call center agent in Glow. From call center agent, I was a team lead. I was a supervisor. But they now called me up. And then I was now among 7 Nigerians that were now trained. It was a 3 months very, very intensive program, and then that's where I got my first certification as a trainer.
Wow.
So
that small episode is a whole lesson in the corporate world.
Yes, it is. So for me, it's about speaking up, because it was day one.
Yeah.
I could have, just be so shy or timid and then not say anything. But I just asked, like,
yeah,
is there any department? And that's all. That's when the guy said training. I heard training. I've never heard of anything like training. I just forgot about it until much later. He recalled he was the head of training at the time. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So he recalled, and that's when they picked me up. And
so that's one lesson. If I'm to pick anything out of this conversation, it should be that you've got to speak up.
Speak up. Just
sometimes
speak up.
say it. It probably is the darndest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it could get you on the table.
Yeah. So that's what I keep telling my guys. Just speak up. Just say it. And that's the environment we are building in our organization today. We like people who can question the status quo. So we have created a safe environment for people to just say it. Because I'm learning from my own experience, and I know because of my upbringing, I'm a very shy, timid kind of person, and I know the kind of guts that it takes for me to speak up. So now that I'm at the helm of affairs, I always try to make it easy. So I tell the people, speak up, speak up. Nobody's going to kill you. Just speak up. What's the worst thing that can happen? No. That's it. So I think it's a great lesson. I think that's what helped.
Amazing. And some way, somehow, you found yourself into banking.
Yeah.
Into insurance first.
Insurance, then banking. So
I'm interested in how the insurance bit came in.
Okay. So the insurance bit came in because of, as a professional trainer, I've been trained and certified to train on anything. Anything, actually. Because training is about a methodology. You learn a methodology, you learn tools and all that, and you can apply it in the field of medicine, anything, actually.
Okay.
So when I left telecom, I went into insurance. How? There was a project. It was something they call bank assurance.
Okay.
Bank assurance is retailing insurance through a bank. At the time, Guarantee Trust Bank, the same GT Bank today, owned a company called Guarantee Trust Assurance. Coincidentally, that company is now one of the largest insurance companies in Nigeria. It's called AXA Mansard. So AXA Mansard wanted to form a bank assurance relationship with Guarantee Trust Bank. So they needed a trainer that will set up the structure, because it requires a lot of training and so many things. They brought an expert from the UK, a guy, very interesting guy from Project 7 from the UK. So he was to work with the indigenous trainer. And that's how I came. I came on board. They liked my skill because I was really, really, really very skillful with training at the time. But I didn't know anything about insurance. But I applied the training methodology, the tools, the skills, and were able to. So that's how come I came into insurance through that project. But after working on the project for just a few months, then I said, you know what, take over the learning and development of the whole company. So from a project of training, recruiting salespeople to learning and development. So that's how I entered insurance. From there, I now started to train. I wanted to learn more about insurance. I'm a proud trainer. I cannot stand in front of people and be telling them things, and then they ask me about something and I don't know. So I started, hunting for knowledge, asking a lot of questions. So I would go out with the salespeople. I would make pitches for them because I had very good presentation skills. I could facilitate. I could answer questions and all of that. So from there, they said, okay, we'll make you an assistant to the head of agency. We used to have an Indian, Suman, that's her name. So I now started assisting the lady. While as a trainer, I was in training, but I was now in agency, and that's where I now started learning a lot about sales and selling. From there, that's when I moved to the bank.
Now, I mean, you've got a very interesting life story. I got to be honest with you. Some way, somehow, you found yourself back in insurance.
Yes.
And at some point, there was a suggestion that you come to Ghana.
Yeah.
Was it your suggestion, or
it was very far from my mind? I have never thought, okay, once in my life, I've had the opportunity of coming to Ghana. It's another story. I used to work with FBN Bank, the same FBN Bank in Ghana today.
Yeah.
Then we were First Bank of Nigeria. That's the bank I used to work. So somewhere in 2012, 13, the First Bank of Nigeria bought one bank across West Africa. It was in Ghana, Guinea, was in Gambia, was in Sierra Leone, and I think there's a fifth country. The bank now sent me to Guinea with one of my colleagues. Is now an ED in FBN Bank in Ghana today.
Okay.
It was two of us that. So funny enough, my deployment was to Ghana. This was in 2011 or so. 24 hours to deployment. They changed it, and they said, no, you are going to Guinea. That's how I went to Guinea. If not, this would have been my second call me. So it wasn't. So I was in Guinea for some time.
Yeah.
Went back to Nigeria before I got back into insurance, and then one thing led to the other. And Allianz bought our own company that we set up in Nigeria. Allianz bought it. We set up a company, myself and my boss, from the scratch and all that, and then we built it to an enviable position that Allianz was interested, bought the company over. So I was there until there was now the opportunity in Ghana. Allianz has always been in Ghana since 2009 with a non-life company. But this time, we wanted to set up, Allianz just launched a company May 24th, 2018. And then I think I had an issue then. I was ill. I had some issues with kidneys, something. Then on my WhatsApp, somebody just told me that, be prepared. It looks like the boss wants you in Ghana. Like, wants me to do what? Because then I was chief people officer.
Okay.
So chief people officer means I'm in charge of human resources, performance management, project management, but nothing about sales at the time. Although I was head of sales at some point, I was head of operations at some point. But my role at the time was chief people officer. So want me in Ghana for what? As a CEO, you must be kidding. Just get out of this place. How? Where? Who?
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's true. Next thing, they set up panel interviews. And then it was like a dream. I was just going through the interviews. I was really amazed because I was really quite shocked at the level that I had grown into.
Yeah.
Because the interviews cut across finance, underwriting, so many things. And, after every of those interviews, I will go back and ask myself that, did you really just say those things there, So that's how I went through the very rigorous process. And then August 2018, they say, okay, you can go there now and spend 2 weeks with the CEO at the time.
Yeah.
Study the environment, get used to the people, and that's it. That's how I came to Ghana.
Were you excited about it or you were nervous?
It was a mix. It was a mix. It's a new role. I've never been a CEO. Never, ever been a CEO. I have never, ever thought of being a CEO. All my life, I've always thought about being a number two. I like to oil the machines. I like to make things work. So in my life, I was in charge of our succession plan as a company. But guess what? I didn't even put myself as a successor to our CEO at the time because, no, you people go and do your CEO. I will be behind and I will help you. All the machines, everything will work. So when they put me on the role, it was like, wow. It was exciting at first. But then when I woke up the next day, things now dawned on me that guy. Yeah, going to be the number one. Where would you start from?
Yeah.
How will these Ghanaians take you? They will just say, where is this small boy coming from? Where are you going to start from? How do you build a team? How do you build a structure? How do you build a culture? What about the product? So there was that apprehension actually.
And the insurance penetration rate in Ghana is less than 2%?
Yeah, it's about 2%.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's the same for Nigeria.
It is actually.
Somewhat.
It's even less if you look at percentage-wise.
Yeah. So would you say that the task was similar or it was more arduous because, of course, it's a territory you're not familiar with?
It was more. For me, it was more because, one, it's a new role. It's a new country, new culture, new people, and then new products. Everything was new. The only thing I had was that I'm a startup champion. So Glow, startup. When we set up Union Assurance, startup. When we were at Guaranteed Trust Assurance, startup. So I had learned some skills. So I am a startup. So for me, it was a project. And really, that's the reason they brought me to say, you know what, go and set this thing up, get this machine running, and then we'll tell you where next to
Where
go.
next to go.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's it. So
Good
that's
stuff.
so based on that, I just felt that just maybe, and my background in human resources, I knew that I'm not boasting, but I think I'm just a bit good with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love people.
Yeah.
I really love people. So when I got in there first, when I saw the body language of everyone, I was just laughing because I knew in their minds who has brought this Nigerian boy here to come out, But I just told myself that don't worry, in a few weeks, in a few months, things will
You
be
get
different.
to know me.
And
Yeah.
today, it's
Oh,
different.
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Give me an overview of the Allianz life insurance business.
Okay, I always like to start from the top. So Allianz is a company that started in 1890 in Germany. It's a very big company, really big. Allianz is into life insurance, non-life insurance, into assistance service. Allianz is into investment. Our investment base is really huge. We have two companies. One is called PIMCO, and then there's Allianz Global Investors. These two companies together hold 1.7 trillion euros
Wow.
in third-party assets. That is like more than the GDP of a couple of countries combined. As at the end of 2020, Allianz as a group, we raked in about 140 billion euros in revenues. So we are talking about a global giant.
Yeah.
Then in Africa, Allianz, so in the world, we are in over 70 countries. In Africa, Allianz is in about 12 countries, but in 49 markets. Allianz is big in Africa. As at last year, we did about 663 million euros in revenues. So in Ghana, 2009, we set up the non-life company. And then in 2018, we set up the company that brought me here. And so when we started, we were small. We were number 20 out of 20 insurance companies. But we quickly started growing with the strong team, the culture that we have, our technology, the hunger and all that. We quickly moved from number 20 in 12 months to first number 16, then number 13. And then as at the end of last year, we've moved to number 9, and which is why we won the award for the fastest growing insurance company. So right now, we do life insurance. Our company, we are specialized in life insurance. And we serve corporates, we serve SME, we serve the people we like to call mid-income. And recently, in 2019, we now started serving the people that people will call the bottom of the pyramid, or micro-insurance.
Okay.
So what we try to do is to serve all spectrum of the economy.
Okay.
And Allianz also, we have a 30% stake in a company called Bima worldwide. Bima is a microinsurance company that is really huge, and it started actually in Ghana. It's one of the biggest microinsurance companies youth. So together, we're serving the needs of the average Ghanaian. Our goal really is to make insurance affordable, to make insurance simple, to make people afford the insurance that they need. Everyone really needs. The people who really need insurance can't afford it. So that's why we're trying to come up with products, processes, systems, everything to make this possible.
As the leader of the business, what is that one thing you needed to implement to make sure this startup worked, and 3 years later you'll be celebrating?
People. People always talk about, the technology must be good. Yeah, technology must be good. Process must be good. Innovative products, yes. But for me, it's about people. People will do all of those things. If you can get the people to work with their hearts much more than their heads, then you can just go to sleep. And that's exactly what is happening today. My people would work. People have a sense of responsibility. People are committed. People will bring their best, and it's all the foundation is because they've seen that the company has built up a structure that shows, that convinces them that we want to really secure their future. So because we want to secure their future and they are convinced of that, they actually would work. So if I want to do it again, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I will concentrate on the people to make sure that they are well trained, to make sure they are competent, to make sure they are happy, to make sure they're committed, they're engaged, the rest will fall in line. The technology we use today was built by my own people. The products that we sell today, they were designed by my own people. The processes that we have, they were designed by the people. So, me, what do I know in insurance? I always tell them, I'm just like the leader of the orchestra.
Yeah.
I don't sing. I don't play any instrument. Mine is just to say, oh, you on this side, raise your hands. You play this. That's all I do.
Yeah.
So, if they are not motivated, they won't do any of that. So that's what I believe in.
And it's important to also note that Allianz Life has met the capital requirement, the minimum capital requirement of 150 million.
Yeah. So the regulator moved the capital requirement to 50 million.
50 million.
So that 50 million, every insurance company is to make sure they have 50 million by December 31 this year, 2020. So by January 2022, everyone should have 50 million. But we didn't, just to make sure that the people have confidence in our brand and to know that Allianz is really investing in Ghana, we quickly injected. So now we have in excess of 100 million. So it's like times two.
Times two of the
what is
capital
needed.
requirement.
That's because we need to really show, demonstrate. And, with that kind of capital, you're able to pay claims.
Yeah.
You're able to write good businesses. You're able to, do. So that's exactly what we've done.
Wow.
So.
Kudos. Tell me, what about you personally do you think has helped you lead the team for 3 years without fail?
For me, I think it's my natural love for people.
Okay.
I just think that's it. So some people say with their lips that they love people, but they don't show it. You know that it's artificial, it's selfish, it's because they want something out of it. So I believe that it's because I love people and I truly do love them. So relationship with my colleagues go beyond just the office. We talk about families. I know their families. I chat with people's husbands, families, wives, all of that. When people have celebrations, we go together. When people have times of mourning, we mourn together. All of that. I believe that that's one of my greatest. There are other skills, there are other things, technical skills, but I think naturally my love for people is what is pushing all of this. Because then the people now, you convince them, at first they were like, everyone is skeptical, but when they now truly believe, it's human nature.
Yeah.
When you believe that someone really loves you, then you love the person back, and then you give your all, and that's exactly what's happening.
You've actually given a whole lesson on leadership tonight, honestly. And I would have asked for more, but we don't have so much time. Very impressive. I'm really grateful that you shared all these nuggets. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear right now. What's my biggest fear? My biggest fear is I'm not looking up to the day where I will say goodbye to the team. I am actually not looking up to. So every day that I think about that my contract will end someday in the next 1, 2, 3 years, and then I would leave, I'm always trying to think about how that day would look like. So my biggest fear is to leave Ghana, to leave the team, and for the team not to be able to continue with this culture that we have built. It's always about legacy. I want to be able to be anywhere, whether I'm in Uganda tomorrow or Kenya or wherever. I want to look back and say, those guys are still doing well. So my biggest fear will be I leave and then everything just, collapses. So that's what we'll do.
To anybody who looks up to you, any word of advice to wrap it up?
Yes, be resilient. Don't give up. Don't give up. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Don't look at your present circumstances. Don't look at your past. Don't think that because your family is poor, because you are poor, because you don't have this. Those things are a plus to those people who have them. But if you don't have any of that, guy, don't worry. Just start from wherever you are with whatever you have and take it forward. Who knows? One day you might be that boy that used to walk on the streets selling yam on his head, and I was sitting in a glass house being a CEO. I could never have dreamt about it.
You're a gem, Gideon. God bless you so much.
Thank you.
I'm
very
grateful that you shared this with us. For those who want to contact Alliance for business, how do they contact? Is there a website they can go
Yes,
to? Their contact,
so
their phone
our
number?
website is there. So Alliance is very simple. Once you just go onto Google, I think the simplest thing is just to type Alliance
Yeah.
on Google, and then you get to our website www.alliance.gh.com.
Yeah.
You get there, and then from there you would see all our contacts.
Okay, good
Yeah.
stuff. I'm sure from tonight we would have a few people contact you for business because
Please, they
your
should.
story is an amazing one and you're a great leader as well. Thank you so much for spending time with us on Personality
It was a
Profile.
great
My name is
privilege.
Lexus Bill, but I have a final question for you, and you better think very well before you answer this. If you want to leave here with a smile on your face, you better think through the answer.
I'm suspecting
Ghana
the question.
jollof.
I know.
Jollof.
I know that question will come. Ghana jollof or Nigeria jollof? The thing is, my wife is Nigerian. We are here, and she's using Ghana ingredients to cook the jollof. So, is that Ghana jollof or is it Nigerian jollof? Well, that I'll leave that for you to answer.
Regards to your wife and the family as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm Lexus Bill. Thanks to my team. And then I take Philip Nye, Abeku Sakofi, Anita Tai, and Rebel Johnson. You can check out the video on our Facebook page. If you missed out this conversation, the video